Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Africa, tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. America, tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze.
You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javan Okello, live from Seattle, Washington, USA.
Greetings, beautiful people. My name is Simon Javan Okello. I am excited that you took the time to join me for today's episode of the African Father in America podcast. I am here in Seattle, Washington, and the weather is getting nicer as we are getting closer to the summer. I see that a lot of you have joined me on TikTok. Thank you so much. Make sure you double tap the screen and you also share this live stream with other people so that we can have more and more people joining us for today's conversation. If you're joining me on YouTube, thank you very much. I deeply appreciate your support. My name is Simon Javan Okello. I am the host of the African Father in America podcast. And with every episode of this amazing podcast, we share an African proverb. And then we look at 3 nuggets of wisdom that come out of this proverb that we share. So every episode has a proverb, and then we get 3 pieces of lessons that we can learn from each of the episodes of the African Father in America podcast. Sometime we have guests, and those are also very, very enjoyable episodes where we bring on guests, we learn about their stories, we learn about their own perspectives about these proverbs, and we also share news about what's going on in the world, what's going on in the community. So before I continue on with the show, I want to actually share just a brief piece of news that is very, very important to me, especially for those who are watching. You will be able to see on the screen right now, there's the image of Madaraka USA Tour 23. So Madaraka first of all is a national holiday in Kenya that is celebrated every June 1st since Kenya's independence. And Madaraka is also the day that the British colonizers left Kenya, or they gave Africans who lived in Kenya at the time the opportunity to decide what their destiny was going to look like. So for me, as a Kenyan living here in the diaspora, together with our community here in the diaspora, we decided to start a festival to remind ourselves of our freedom, our liberation, our culture. And so for the last 9 years, we have been producing Madaraka Festival in Seattle, Washington, and also in Kisumu, Kenya. So we've done it 7 times in Seattle, once in Kisumu, Kenya. And this year, we are taking it on the road. We are going to New York at Irving Plaza on May 16th. We are going to be in Atlanta on May 21st at Buckhead Theater. And we are going to be in Dallas, in Texas at the House of Blues. If you want tickets for those 3 shows, go to Ticketmaster, and you'll be able to see me in person, but also you'll be able to see a lot of other amazing African artists. And then on May 26th, we will be in Seattle for the biggest show of the whole tour at Benaroya Hall right in the middle of downtown Seattle. So that's something that is important that I wanted to share before I continue with the rest of the show. So thank you again for listening. If you want to volunteer, if you want to help with making Madaraka the best African festival ever, let me know. Let me know in the DM. Let me know in the comments. But now I want to bring us back to today's African proverb that says, today's hunger does not share itself with tomorrow's hunger. Today's hunger does not share itself with tomorrow's hunger. What does this mean to you if you're watching the show right now? I know that some of you are tuned in on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on YouTube, where I'm really working hard to build our community there. So if you haven't followed me on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. And if you have not given this video a thumbs up, also make sure you do so right now. But also we are live on TikTok, where I have a very, very lovely community of people that support the African Father in America podcast. So if you're there right now, let me know where in the world you are joining us from, and also take a second and share this live stream. Share it with the rest of the world, so that everybody else knows that African ancestral wisdom is also valuable. This is the only way that we can let the words of our ancestors continue evolving. So our proverb, again from the Bambara tribe, says, "Today's hunger does not share itself with tomorrow's hunger." This proverb inspired 3 nuggets of wisdom that I want to share with you right now. But before I do that, I see that my brother Earth has joined us on YouTube. Thank you so much. Please type down there and let us know where in the world you are joining us from. And also, I also see a number of you who have joined us on YouTube. Please take a second and type down there in the comments and just let us know where in the world are you joining us from. I would love to know, and I'll be able to give you a shout out. Also, I want to know your own interpretation of this proverb, because every African proverb has so many different perspectives. It's almost like you are looking at the elephant, and one person is looking at the elephant from behind, another person is looking at the elephant from the front, another one is looking at the elephant from the side. All of you are looking at the elephant, but what you're seeing is slightly different. Someone is seeing the tail, someone is seeing the belly, someone is seeing the head, So you're seeing the same thing, but seeing different parts of it. That's how interpreting African proverbs are. So today we have 3 nuggets of wisdom, and the first one says that again, this proverb inspired these nuggets of wisdom. The proverb itself says, "Today's hunger does not share itself with tomorrow's hunger." I love this. I'll talk a lot more about it, but here are the 3 nuggets of wisdom. Number 1, don't assume that hunger can automatically address itself. Your belly cannot feed itself. You have to put food in there. But also, anything that is going on for you in your life, there has to be some form of action taken to either continue doing it if it's something that is beneficial to you, or there has to be action for you to stop it, for you to stop doing it. Right now, by the way, Ramadan Kareem to all my Muslim brothers and sisters. Right now, everybody is actually dealing with hunger, especially my brothers and sisters who are fasting for religious reasons. And a lot of the time there is temptation to break your fast and do something, but that the more perseverance you can be, the more you can persevere, the better it is for your body and for your spiritual strength. So this proverb is reminding us that nobody is going to remind you to continue persevering, but it's only upon you to learn and to educate yourself and to know the value of why you're fasting, if you're amongst the community of people who are fasting. But also, if you are in a bad job, a job that is draining you mentally and physically and emotionally, nobody is going to force you out of that job, not even your family. You will have to take yourself out of it, just the way you took yourself in there. The same applies to marriages. If you're in a bad marriage or a bad relationship, you have to take yourself out of it. Nobody is going to take you automatically from that situation. Number 2, procrastination can worsen your problems in the future. Many times we are faced with a situation that needs to be addressed immediately. But a lot of the time we say that, let me wait and see if my mother will send me some money. Let me wait and see if so and so is going to solve this problem. And a lot of the time, by the time that happens, you already have some problems that it will be much more costly to address. So it's really, really important for us to be aware that the more you procrastinate, the more you will pay. Number 3, being proactive rather than reactive. This proverb teaches us that it's really, really important to think ahead, and to be a visionary and to not react to situations. Don't wait so that things are in a situation where you're just going with the flow. You should create the flow of how things work. That's what this proverb is advising us to do. The proverb again says, today's hunger does not share itself with tomorrow's hunger. This proverb also reminds me of another popular Kiswahili saying that goes, leo ni leo, asemai kesho ni muongo. Leo ni leo, asemai kesho ni muongo. This means today is today. Whoever tells you about tomorrow is lying to you. Today is today. Whoever tells you about tomorrow is lying to you. A lot of the time, you find that, let me talk about Kenya for a second. Right now, the situation in Kenya is getting really, really hot politically. And we all know that we can't ignore politics. Whether it's here in the US, politics control a huge part of our living standards, our safety. If politicians decide to reduce the budget for how much is being invested in the police and security systems, we could be victims of a lot of crimes and lack of safety in our communities. So what's going on in Kenya right now is that there are a number of injustices that are going on, and luckily there is a strong opposition. We have a government that is still very new, and there is a lot of evidence that the government was illegitimately brought in to office, and the opposition has been responding to that by organizing protests. So last week on Monday, there were major protests in Kenya, and the way that the government responded was completely unacceptable. And so yesterday I was also reading a small piece of article from Democracy Now, where they were saying that the city of Philadelphia is paying over 300 protesters that were also attacked and treated very poorly by police here in the US. And I was joking and saying that maybe the city of Nairobi needs to pay all the protesters that lost their lives last week, and also all the businesses that also lost money. The city of Nairobi and the Kenyan government needs to pay these people, because here in the US, the city of Philadelphia is paying these people. And I'm saying that because the government was notified, everything was done by the book, and we all saw it in the news. But I feel that we as Kenyans living here in the diaspora, or Kenyans back home, we are always very comfortable until something terrible happens. And that's also what this proverb is reminding us about. Today's hunger does not share itself with tomorrow's hunger. A lot of people look at someone like Raila Odinga and they say, you've been leading so many protests all your life, why are you doing it now? But this proverb is saying, today's hunger does not share itself with tomorrow's hunger. The problems of the 90s and the early 2000s are different from today's problems. And so they will also be different from tomorrow's problems. And the way that they can be addressed is different, But we should not wait so that the protesters show up at our doorstep, before we do something. I remember during Black Lives Matter, I didn't go out to protest. I was interviewing a lot of activists and people who are leading the protests. But one day, outside my door, there were thousands of people walking by, and agitating for the reduction of money that is being invested in police services here in Seattle, so that those monies can be invested more in communities, and since then we've seen a lot of money coming into the community and less money going into investment in tear gas and police equipment that are being used to maim and beat people up. So I feel that what is going on in Kenya is something that is very important for everybody across the world to pay attention to, because when Kenya is unstable, many European countries are actually unstable, because majority of European countries have their embassies in Kenya, and many people from across Africa have to travel to Kenya to get their visas. The UN has a lot of operations in Kenya, the Gates Foundation, Microsoft, Spotify, Amazon. And so I don't think we will have Kenya if what is going on continues for a long time. And I just urge you, if you're watching the show today, go online and take a look at what happened on Monday in Kenya, but also pay attention to what's going to happen next Monday. Another series of protests have just been announced every Monday and every Thursday, and also a number of companies that are supporting the government to oppress people are also being boycotted. And so for me, I just completely support the protests that are going on in Kenya, because I have been impacted by some of the problems that the opposition are speaking out against, And so for me, I believe that anybody in a position of leadership has to earn their position in a manner that is transparent and can be measured and can be scrutinized, and everything can be open and put out in the book. But if you win, let's say, the Grammys, and people cannot even see the music that you produced and how you did it, people will say, no, you are rigged into winning the Grammys. And so that is the situation that we have in Kenya, where we have the president that suddenly became president after nobody really understanding how they did it, and it's very difficult to measure. And also there is a sense that the West, the US and the UK, participated in bringing a puppet president into power in order to continue controlling the resources in Kenya, similar to how they do in many parts of Africa. So I just wanted to speak my piece and urge you to do your own research and make your own decision, but don't wait for tomorrow's hunger to be solved by today's hunger. If there is a need that you have today, make sure you meet that need today. Now, I want to give you all, just gratitude and deep appreciation for taking the time and joining me for the show today. I see Lavender. Thank you for joining me today. Brother Art, thank you again for also being here. If you're watching the show, share in the comment where in the world you are joining me from. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, this is a good time for you to do it. Just go to YouTube and type in AFIAPodcast. AFIA means African Father in America, and you will be able to find my channel and you'll be able to subscribe. And also, commenting allows YouTube algorithm to know that there is engagement on the videos and the content that we are putting out. So make sure you are engaging, whether you are on LinkedIn watching right now, on Facebook, on Twitter, on TikTok, on YouTube. Make sure you leave a comment so that I know that you are there. That's good for me to know that you came and you watched the show. And also leave a little comment. You can either leave one word just by saying what city you are in, or you can leave a sentence to help me understand your own interpretation of today's proverb from the Bambara tribe. It says, today's hunger does not share itself with tomorrow's hunger. So I'm just going to read a few comments here. Number one is Brother Earth is saying, greetings family, peace and blessings. Peace and blessings to you. Lavender says here, greetings Brother Earth. And also Lavender says, also in Swahili, mtaka cha mvunguni sharti ainame. I love that one. Yeah, if you want something from under the table, you must bend. Nobody is going to bend for you. Also, Brother Art says here, Lavender, good to know you are around. Yes, Lavender is back. We missed her for 8 weeks when she was at Woodby Institute for her training program. So we're just happy that Lavender is back here. I see Cabs also. Cabs is also saying greetings, Lavender and Tidwell. Well, Cabs, thank you for being here and being an amazing supporter of the show. I just want to read a text. Somebody sent me a message here about the podcast. Let's see. Nice. The problem lately is that I can't even tell who is sending me a text because my phone is misbehaving. Lately, I don't even know who is texting me, but I will know in a second. Anyhow, whoever you are, just know that I appreciate you. But they say in the text message that the podcast was fire this morning, looking to hearing more of your thoughts. Yes, you'll hear more of my thoughts. And on TikTok, Steve, thank you for joining over there. And of course, Stella and everybody who joined us on TikTok, thank you so much. If you haven't followed me there, make sure you do so at your earliest convenience, because we are going to begin sharing a lot of video on TikTok, on Reels, a lot of nuggets of wisdom, a lot of just pieces of beautiful information we will be sharing over the next few weeks. When I traveled to Kenya recently in February, I went with like a 5 terabyte hard drive full of content, and I left it with Taban and Herald, who are part of our team in Kenya, who are doing video production for One Vibe there. And you won't believe it, there's so much content we will be sharing with you. It's Brother Johnny No Good is the one who sent me a text message. Big up to you. Thank you for always supporting. And it was nice to actually meet you in person and give you a big hug when you traveled to Seattle, Washington for the Kijiji night. You won't believe it, Johnny, by the way. There is somebody from Omaha, Nebraska, who is Kenyan and who reached out and was asking us to extend the Madaraka Festival tour to Omaha, Nebraska. So who knows, one day we will be in your neighborhood. So today has been really great. I feel like just talking, but every good thing has to come to an end. And that is also what we are going to do with our show today. We are going to wrap it up now, but I just want to urge you to make sure you do for me a big favor while you're all here. I want you to go to 2 websites. Number one, I want you to go to Ticketmaster. I want you to go to Ticketmaster so that you can get your ticket to the Madaraka Festival show in New York on May 16th. I want you to go to Ticketmaster to get your ticket for our show in Atlanta on May 21st, and also do the same for our show in Dallas on May 24th. And then finally, the big Madaraka Festival is going to be on May 26th, here in Seattle, Washington at Benaroya Hall. We have to make history in Seattle, my lovely people. A lot of the time, we as African people, we are always put in corners. We bring African artists here in America, and they're just in venues where you yourself, as you're driving to that venue, you get lost. Many times, by the time you get to the show, you're frustrated. You don't even feel like enjoying the show. You feel like turning around and going back home. And the other thing is that if we are not willing to partner with these big and recognizable venues and brands, we will not be able to grow our own brands. There's another Luo proverb. I'm a Luo from Lake Victoria. We have our own proverb that says, kikituo kama iluo krie. Kikituo kama iluo krie. It means never dry where you took your shower. If you take a shower at this spot, you move to the next spot so that you dry there in order for someone else to dry where you took the shower, So that's a very, very important proverb, and it's much like today's proverb from the Bambara tribe. What it means is that once you're done with your business, don't just sit on the toilet. Move away so that somebody can use the toilet. Once you've used the shower, move away so that somebody else can use the shower. And so for us, we've done Madaraka Festival here in Seattle for 7 years, and we worked hard and we made impact. We didn't just do a show. We've built a recording studio. We've built an editing suite. We've bought filming equipment, and we are getting more as a result of this festival. And also, we are adding more non-profits that we are supporting. This year we are supporting Mama Hope, that is a bigger organization than One Vibe Africa, but they see value in partnering with us, And so we will be able to support many communities across Africa, from Ghana to Tanzania, Uganda, as a result of this festival. So, by the way, you can also go to Classy. You can go to classy.com if you want to donate. We are accepting donations for those who cannot make it to any of the shows. We are accepting donations to support music programs in Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. So also DM me on Instagram if you want to learn more about this campaign that we are doing. With all those many remarks, I just thank you for taking your time and joining me today, and really being the first people I talk to. You guys are the first people I talk to every morning when I wake up. I haven't even talked to my children, my wife, I talk to myself first when I'm meditating. The moment I wake up, I meditate while my coffee is getting ready, and then I come and talk to you guys. So you are very, very lucky, and I am also very, very lucky. Thank you so much. Take care of yourself.
Father in America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Africa, tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze.
You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javan Okello, live from Seattle, Washington.